I've got the basis or the basic layout, I think, for this papyrus utility. Really, I don't really use it. I don't really. I'm to be so. I mean, I guess to summarize, I'm not really sure what information I need to really report on or what this application really needs until I start using it or I start scripting. I haven't done any scripting yet, at least not until the old Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas days. So I haven't done anything on Skyrim, and which then led into Fallout 4. But let me show you what I have so far. Like I say, it's just a basic idea. I'm not really sure what it needs. So if you have any ideas, by all means, let me know. So in effect, uh, drag and drop and all that still works. So you can still go in and you can drag and drop, just drag uh, papyrus papyrus logs onto here. And what this does is basically index it. So the main section, this main list is really broken down into three sections. One is the info section, which tells a little bit about the papyrus log. The second, these are user, let me hang on. These are user defined filters. So over here, let me get this over here to where I can show you. So over here, let's find the filter. Let's see, where are you? Filter list. I think it's right. Is it here? Okay, perfect. All right. So here you can see down here. It's the same filter file that's used by all applications, and it's just a simple tag file. So Papyrus script, that's the name of the filter. And then here you put in whatever text that you want to look for and tally. And then if you look over here, you will see that in the filter, that is what you see here. These are the items that you see here under filters. And let me expand this a little bit so you can see it. Let me bring this over here. So what it does, it shows you how many occurrences exist for that particular filter. So you have the info section, which is just the first really zero relative lines 1 through 3. If it's, not zero relative, it's going to be lines 2 through 4. But it's really the first 4 informational line or the first 3 informational lines of the papyrus log is what it is. And it's just verbatim. And then these are the filters that you define in this file here. So you put your own filter in here. You just type it in, and if you want to look for, let's say, something that says testing, then that's all you would do. You would save it. Then you have to, with these applications, they don't auto load when you change configuration files. You'll have to exit out and reload again. I'm gonna take that out real quick. Um, So you'll have to reload the application, but that's okay. I can easily change that later, but right now I just kind of want to work on the basis of it. So here you can see, the filter would show up down here and it would show you the tally. So if you're looking, because I'm not sure what I'm looking for. So I'm only looking for certain things just to see if I can index it. And then the next section is the stack. So anytime it finds stack entries. Now this is kind of just my first attempt at it. I have to take a look at stack dumps. And I don't think I have a papyrus log with stack dumps in it yet. These are just things that show up on the stack. And it'll show you the occurrences of things that pop up on the stack. And these are just references in the papyrus log. And the way I did it is incredibly simple. Basically, what you do is you create over here. I'll show you how it's very easily, very, very easily modified. You can just, and you just modify the any files. Here, these are words that precede a field that you want to extract. So you have a papyrus entry, and what I do is I break that sentence down into words, word fields. And here is where you say these are the fields. When you find one of these fields, one of these words in that sentence, then you want to extract the very next field, the adjacent field. So to would be a reference. You want to extract that reference. This is what you want to omit. So if for some reason the word to has field after it, and you don't want field to appear, then you would put it down here. And that's pretty much it. Everything uses that type of indexing. So if you were to click on, let's do this one. Let's say you click on this one here. It'll show you a tallied reference of every one of those occurrences, because they could occur in a different script or something. Then if you want to see where that is in the log, you would then click on that and it will highlight it for you. So you can click on different things and you can see the log changing. And you can actually move all of these over, and because it is a child form, they all move with the parent. That's standard across all applications. That's part of the framework. That's part of that utilities library framework I was talking about. That utility library framework is what's responsible for generating these forms. It generates these lists. It captures events. It does all of that. And then the main application just focuses on just what you need to process. Okay, so you have that. All right, let's go ahead and close this for a minute. Uh, Yeah, didn't want to grab that one. Whoops, wrong one. All right. So let's check out one of these down here. So let's check out the another one just as an example. We'll have one that has more. We'll pick this one. So you can see all the it highlights all the instances in the log. Let's get this out of the way. All the instances in the log is what it does. And that's really all it is. It's incredibly simple. You literally say, here's a log. I want you to extract these words in a sentence, in a log entry that is built up into a key. That's what these are. It builds it up into a key, and then it will tally the number of those keys up. Okay, so if that makes sense, and that's what you see here. And in this record, in this entry, is also the log instances, which has those items. And then they're all highlighted, so you can should be able to easily see them. And I know bright red is kind of a problem, so I made it a very, very light khaki yellow kind of a color, but you can literally see that. And that's it. That's pretty much what it does. So, in a nutshell, you specify what you're looking for in the papyrus log, and then it will tally those instances up that it finds for that text string. And then once you click on that, it will tally up the number of unique fields, or as you define in that little field that you want to extract, what it finds in all of those items. It breaks it down by field, and then from that you simply click and it indexes it, and that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. So to add your own thing, you just go into the text file. You just go over here into this text file and you add, let's go over to the any here. Where is our any filters? Filters, good old filters. And you just go over here and you just put whatever it is down here, and the software does the rest. So and then it lets you pick, it lets you set the preceding words, so that way if logs are different, or like if the text is different, then, or if you only want specific things, So you may not want every single field that comes after a certain word. You may only want specific ones. I didn't really go in and extract out these. I left it with it, which was the references, to the actual script or the object. I thought that might be useful. Like I say, I don't know. I have no idea, how all that's going to work. But I do want to show you this because it is done within the library, within the external DLL library. Everything still applies. Every one of these lists, every list you see, it all shares the exact same functionality. They're all the same thing. The only difference is structurally they are the same. Event-wise, they are the same. The only difference is the name of the form and the data that is in the list. That is the only difference. So everything still applies. So if I wanted to do a find, I could still search for SS2. See, I can still do that, and I can look for SS2 specific ones and bring those up, okay? Or I could go in and do a filter, and I could filter for SS2. And then every one of these still shares, because it's a cloned item, it still shares the exact same data structures, and it will bring up. So that way you can create a filter for looking for specific keywords, and then you can filter your results against that. So that way you can say, oh, SS2 includes workshop framework, it includes all these different things, and then you can link it up right there, and it'll take you right to it. And that's pretty much it. I did want to, to kind of reinforce that finding objects and filtering objects, that's all part of that's part of the template. So any application that shares that template will have that capability, but the functionality is embedded into the utilities library. So that's that one. So I don't know what else it needs. If you can think of something else, let me know, and I'll throw it in there and toss this. I'll link you to this. If you want to try it out, I'll link you to it, and you can kind of play around with it and see. It'll have the source code with it. The utility source code, I don't have that yet because I need to clean that up. There's some code in there that it looks like first grade stuff, so I do want to get that cleaned up, but that'll eventually come with it. But you can actually see how the template works, and it's really, really simple. The coding of it's really, really simple. But anyways, I hope that helps with something, and just let me know if you need anything, and I will see what I can do.